Hey guys, it's Timothy here. We won the die roll with our red-white exert deck. We are going to play first, and this deck seems solid. My hand is pretty good. We have 2-drop, 3-drop that curves really nicely from our 2-drop, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into with this. The draft was really odd. Red was really cut in pack 1, but we ended up playing red-white anyway, mostly because we ended up with 3 of these guys, and we did first pick in the head on a blue deck. All right, so let's get down Steward. And then next turn, assuming it survives, we play Resolute Survivors and we start building a board with the Steward, which is really nice because every time we make a 1-1, we get to drain our opponent for 1. Cyclone Hieroglyphic Elimination on turn 1, and Cyclone River Serpent. Huh. I wonder what that means. My opponent doing just a ton of Cyclone. It's possible I just want to actually attack for 2. And I think that's right. So we will attack our opponent for 2 this turn. Exerting's sweet, but if I can get an extra damage early, I might as well do that, right? Again, I could play Spearmaster here and exert both next turn. Kind of like that. We are on track to cast our Angel currently, too. We just want to make sure we're casting spells every turn of the game. Alright, blue-white. My opponent just doesn't have anything here? That's very weird. We're going to go and cast this first. No, we're not exerting either of our creatures, so again, we don't have to do that. Is my opponent just going to go down to 13? I don't think I'm playing into a sweeper. See if there's a counter spell. Countervailing Winds? Yeah. That's okay. No, I can't. That's alright. We've already got a pretty big lead. We have at least the Angel if we just get flooded here. Huh. Alright, so my opponent's clearly on some sort of Cyclone deck. But we're going to go ahead and attack again for 5. And then play Mummy Paramount. Opponent going down to 8. Jeez. Oh, so my opponent's on all counter spells. Pay 4? No, I won't pay 4. Countervailing Winds is fine. It's basically just cancel that cycles. Not always. It counters unless your opponent pays 1 for each card in your graveyard, so the more Cyclone they have going on, the better for them. It's possible if they just pass the turn here, I want to exert this so it doesn't run into the stupid 2/3 flash creature. The flyer, the Aven Reed Stalker. So my opponent's going to start getting on the board here. And if they play something that can block Steward, we start exerting that. Imaginary threats. Okay, so just tapping my creatures down for a turn. Them doing that on my turn, that makes sense. They just don't want to get hit here. So we'll go and play Angel. My opponent might be like an Abandoned Sarcophagus deck or something like that, because literally they've shown us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and they all cycle. 7. My guys do untap next turn. I mean, I have lethal on board. You're going to have to do a little bit more than cycling. Yeah. Called it. Okay, so my opponent can start casting spells out of their graveyard, but I get to kill them this turn with Desert's Hold. Actually get to stop them from blocking and just deal lethal to them. So my opponent doing a little bit too much wheel spinning. This should prompt a concession. Yeah. Okay, Abandoned Sarcophagus. I don't think we want to bring in by force for that. Even though I do think it's solid. Do I have anything else that deals with that? Disposal Mummy actually seems fine as a way to counteract certain cards I don't want my opponent to have in the graveyard. Other than that, I just don't see much. Like, we could bring in by force, but if they don't have their card, then it just looks stupid. So I like bringing in Disposal Mummy, and we are going to be on the draw here, so we could take out something that's not going to be as good on the draw, maybe Onward to Victory, even though that can just steal a win. I don't know. One of our 3-drops. Dauntless Haven's good. Steward of Solidarity. Could just take out this mummy. I'll take out 1 act of heroism. I don't think I'm going to be getting in combat a lot with my opponent. Could be wrong about that. But Disposal Mummy, eating a card makes their countervailing wins a little bit worse. And their Abandoned Sarcophagus. Fine hand. We have this Pyramid. My opponent goes down to 6. We have a 2-drop. Alright, I don't think my opponent should be just using... Maybe they're going for F6 value, I guess, but... I don't think you want to be cycling all your cards that early. Alright, getting a creature on board is good for me. No red mana, but also no red cards. Then I'm assuming my opponent just plays a mana and passes turn. Oh, they don't have a 3rd land in hand. Or they just want to do that. They put Strategic Planet and a land in their graveyard, and their 3 colors. Okay. Alright, there's the red source, so we're going to get our Pyramid going this turn. We have 2 removal spells to back it up. We don't have a huge clock on our opponent, but having our Pyramid down is pretty nice. Okay. So they're using the impulse part of Supreme Will. They get to look at 4 cards, put 1 in their hand and 1 on the bottom. They really want to find their sarcophagus, I assume. Alright, Resolute Survivors is a good draw there. If we have stuff to do, we're not going to play or use our Pyramid. As long as I have creatures to cast and my opponent can't really do anything about it, I'm just going to keep playing creatures. And then the Pyramid will come in handy when I get to a point where that's no longer possible. If they play some big chunky thing, I'll probably Desert's Hold and then Pyramid for the turn. Looks like they're going to cycle. Oh, play Proven Combatant. Okay. Not too worried about that. I don't want to Desert's Hold it either. I'm using their only blue source too. I know they're very heavy blue. They showed us mostly blue cards. Cyclono Catcher's Attendant. Oh, Disposal Mummy would be a solid draw here, just to eat that out of the graveyard. Here, let's see. They're probably going to use their next turn. Did they miss a land drop? I believe so. Probably going to use their next turn to bring back Catcher's Attendant from the graveyard, in which case I Desert's Hold it, but I could play Aven, attack for 5 this turn. Alternatively, I could play Pathmaker and use my Pyramid, but again, I want to get in damage while I can. I expect to see a block here, but not likely. Well, I don't think I'd block if I was my opponent. They can't take infinite damage either. They spend their next couple turns just like Eternalize and stuff. That's fine by me. Going up to 23, putting more pressure on board. Starting to look bad for my opponent, especially if they missed a land drop. They can't even bring these 2 guys back. Another Strategic Planning? No. Ruin Rats. That's okay. I don't have to swing into that. They missed another land drop, so I don't really have to do much there. Ooh, Temets. Temet's a solid payoff. Now, the question is, do I want to use Desert's Hold on this rat just to keep the pressure going? I could attack with just Aven. There's no real need for me to do that, and then play out these 2 things. Pathmaker Initiate lets me start getting in extra damage the turn after. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like just attacking with the Aven here. Put my opponent down to 11. I can start exerting Catcher's Avenger too, and it drains my opponent with the survivors. That also makes future survivors really good draws. Again, if my opponent gets to 5 lands, I really expect Catcher's Attendant to come back, but I also don't know what they have in their hand. They have 5 cards and none of them are lands. Their Sarcophagus doesn't even look amazing here. They have 3 cards with Cyclone. Yeah, Cyclone Forsake the Worldly. They gotta hit the land drops, though. Now they're up to 5 lands. Might be too late for them. I don't want to say that for sure, but I feel like I have a pretty steady hold on this game. All right, I am going to go ahead and use the Pyramid first, I believe. All right, Compulsory Rest. It's not bad. I could use a removal spell to get Ruin Rat out of the picture and then just jam with everything. Alternatively, I don't really have to do too much work. I don't want to run into Countervail and Winds here. My opponent has a bunch of cards, so I could just make Mummy Paramount unblockable and attack for 5. And I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I could also attack with Catcher's Avenger and make it, yeah, let's just go all in on the opponent and just not even give him a chance to counter any of our spells. So attack, attack, and I will exert this. I will not attack with the Resolute Survivors, and I still get a ping from the Catcher's Attendant. Avenger, not Attendant. Opponent going down to 10, and I have 8 damage coming in. Alright, we got something here. Saving Grace. Alright, so just redirecting all the damage to Temet. That's okay with me. I don't think... This is life loss, isn't it? Oh, no. Okay, he gets to redirect the damage from Resolute Survivors. That's pretty sweet. Temet's super dead. Alright, so my opponent managed to fog a turn there. I'm just not going to use any of these removal spells. I don't need to see a need to do that. Let's see, my opponent just eternalizes something this turn. I have enough mana to lock down both things. I can attack for 3. 6 plus 1 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have lethal if they just tap out for a 5-drop. Yes. Okay. Attendant. Yeah, so we compulsory rest. They don't have mana to sack it. We Desert Hold the other one, and then we just attack with everything. I do have to exert this, but, you know, it's lethal, so. Let's go ahead and Desert Hold this thing. Let's compulsory rest the other thing, and let's attack for lethal. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 exactly. Alright, sorry opponent. Looks like they went for something sweet here, but as I learned in one of my previous drafts, Abandoned Sarcophagus takes a little bit too much setup before it becomes really good. And yeah, that was a pretty convincing win. I don't want to say our deck's amazing or anything, but because we didn't really play against an opponent who interacted with us too much. But yeah, that's round 1. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in round 2.